Hi everyone, this is Karen Smiley. Welcome to 6Ps and AI Pods on Substack. More Than Melodies, Ethics of Generative AI for Music, Unfair Use Series Part 3. This is an overview of all the different ways AI, and specifically generative AI, is being used in creation of music. Most are not in scope for our 8-part series. Our focus is on creating melodies. More Than Melodies, Other Aspects of Generating Music with AI. In our article series on ethics of generative AI for music, we're analyzing Gen AI tools for creating, composing, and performing melodies with instruments and/or vocals. However, melodies are clearly not the only aspects of music that can be manipulated or generated by AI. While working on part 3 of our series, we've uncovered relevant tools and links for 10 other aspects. We are sharing them on this post for reference in case they are of use to others. Number 1, automated mastering. Mastering is the final step of audio post-production and is done using tools like equalization, compression, limiting, and stereo enhancement. The goal of mastering is to ensure your audio will sound the best it can on all platforms. AI-based mastering can automatically detect the genre and the style and determine how best to adjust the loudness, highs and lows, and other aspects. Mastering is a process where an audio engineer takes your mix and zhushes it up, making everything match, sound right, gets the best balance, and sometimes even pull more from the music than the original composer was able to mix in originally. Lander is one example of an AI-based automated mastering tool. They launched in Canada in 2014 and billed themselves as the creative platform for musicians, AI-powered music mastering, distribution, plugins, collaboration, promotion, and sample packs. Ethicality of AI-based automated mastering tools depends on whether 1. The base model used in the tool was fairly trained, and 2. The owner of the rights to the recording being mastered has consented, been credited, and is being properly compensated. Whether remixing a song one does not own, for instance to slow down or speed it up, is fair use versus illegally creating a derivative work has been a disputed area of the law. A creator who owns the song and is mastering it with AI is clearly within their rights. Their use is likely to be ethical, provided the base model used in the tool was fairly trained. Number 2, automated translation. AI can help with translating sung lyrics and vocals to new natural languages for international audiences. As one example, musician Love is working with AI voice startup Hooky to translate one of his songs into Korean. Ethicality of AI-based automated translation tools depends on whether the base model used in the recording tool was fairly trained and the owner of the rights to the original recording has consented, been credited, and is being properly compensated. It's worth noting that automated translation for music has the potential for inadvertently creating an offensive rendition in the new language. This is an easy to overlook aspect of ethicality for auto-translating music lyrics with AI, just as it is for translation of text. Review of the translated song by a native speaker of the new language can mitigate this risk. Number 3, enhanced autotune. Autotune was introduced in 1997 based on autocorrelation, or signal processing, in other words, a non-AI feature. It was pioneered by Cher in her 1998 song Believe, and became a signature sound for T-Pain and other artists. The technology has progressed to the point where some artists now use real-time auto-tune in a live concert, not just in recording a song or album. Although auto-tune originated without AI, universities are currently experimenting with improving auto-tune with AI. Ethicality of AI-based auto-tuning tools depends primarily on whether the base model used in the tool was fairly trained. Number 4, functional music. Functional music is a term for individualized melodies created for therapeutic or wellness purposes. As mentioned in part 1, AI can be used to generate personalized tracks adjusted to each person's individual emotions and needs to create a therapeutic experience. It can generate calming melodies for anxiety relief or upbeat tracks for motivation. It can even potentially analyze your reactions, preferences, and current behavior to fine-tune the music in real time. Amazon's February 2023 playlist partnership with Berlin-based startup Endel addresses this use case. Other therapeutic applications, such as music-based reminiscence to support mental health of older adults, are also being explored. Provided the underlying model has been fairly trained, functional music appears to be one of the more ethical uses of generative AI for music. Number 5, generating lyrics. Large language models are trained on massive data sets with words and associated metadata. Just like they can be used to generate emails or articles or customer support responses, they can be used to generate lyrics. Ethical considerations of Gen AI for creating lyrics are the same as for other text. The music contributors who own the lyrics used to train the underlying models should have the opportunity to consent, be credited, and be properly compensated. Number 6, music discovery, recommenders, and playlist generators. Music discovery tools help you find more music you may like. They may be recommenders for a single song, an AI DJ, or a playlist generator. Some examples: Spotify AI DJ and AI playlist, Amazon Music Maestro, Harmix, Choosic Similar Song Finder, Song Hunt, Deep AI, and Clamp. This is not an exhaustive list. Ethicality of music discovery tools depends on whether the base model used in the tool was fairly trained. Number 7, self-organizing sample managers. A sample manager can help a music creator or producer to organize and leverage their library of samples by enabling them to tag and then search by key, beats per minute, instrument, genre, mood, and more. On the surface, tools like Splice, which use AI, seem to only use machine learning for searching, not for generating music. Another sample manager, Cosmos Sample Finder, quote, utilizes artificial intelligence to manage and auto-tag your entire sample library, but it's not clear if it's really AI or even generative AI. Ethicality of sample management tools depends on whether the base models used in the tool for auto-tagging or search were fairly trained. For search, it's probably not much different from other search tools for other modes of media. Number 8, stem splitting. Stem splitting means dividing an audio recording into separate parts for each instrument, including individual voices. Some examples: AudioShake, LALAL.ai, MusicFi, AI Karaoke Maker, and AI Stem Splitter. Stem splitting is typically used to generate karaoke tracks and is one step in tools for generating vocal covers. Stem splitting with generative AI separates and removes the original voice or an original instrument from a recording. This enables the tool to substitute the user's voice or instrument on top of the original instruments. Ethicality of stem splitting depends on whether 1, the base model used for the splitting was fairly trained, and 2, the owner of the rights to the original recording has consented, been credited, and is being properly compensated. Number 9, voice cloning or synthesis. Voice cloning is creating a unique Gen AI model for a single person's voice using recordings of that person's voice, plus a foundation model trained on many people's voices. Voices of played musical instruments can be similarly cloned. We have a bonus article on why the current voice cloning tools are mostly unethical, in my opinion, especially when the voice is not one's own. And we have a second bonus article for details on non-music text-to-speech voice cloning and the few ethical tool providers we've identified. Voice synthesis uses a voice clone model to generate new music. In practice, voice synthesis is sometimes conflated with voice cloning. A tool that can create a voice clone model can typically also use it for voice synthesis. As an example of voice synthesis, a composer might use a tool with a pre-trained, canned voice clone model to sing their lyrics and quickly create a low-fidelity prototype of their song for pitching it to producers and performers. Provided the pre-trained voice clone model was ethically acquired and applied to the composer's own song, this could be an ethical use. Some other examples for voice synthesis uses: 1, for making new tribute recordings of deceased singers; 2, for record labels to record promotions of a deceased singer's works in their own voice, speech or singing, for advertising purposes. Ethicality of voice synthesis will vary depending on whether 1. The base model used for the synthesis was fairly trained, and 2. The owners of the rights to the original voice have consented and been credited and are being properly compensated. And number 10, vocal cover. A cover of a song is when a musician substitutes their own performance for part or all of the performance by the original artist. Karaoke is essentially a vocal cover assistant. A karaoke track has the original voice removed by stem splitting so that you can sing along. AI-based vocal cover tools use style transfer to apply a voice clone model trained on a new voice to a song that was recorded by a different performer. Like with a sung vocal, musical instruments can be substituted or applied from a voice clone. These tools don't generate new melodies. They generate new recordings, having a substitute track with the new voice or instrument. Ethicality of voice covers depends on whether 1. The base model used for voice cloning and synthesis was fairly trained, and 2. The owners of the rights to the original recording have consented, been credited, and are being compensated. We do not plan to cover voice cloning, vocal cover, or voice synthesis features any further in this series. IP rights of stakeholders. In these sections above, we refer to the owners of the rights. Who are these owners? Well, in part 1 of our series, we identified 3 groups of stakeholders: music contributors, music users, and tool providers. Music contributors include composers, performers, and production companies. One or more of them are generally the owners of the rights. More than one kind of IP rights are relevant for music contributors. They can be classified as composition rights, master rights, and performer rights. If you're interested in a deeper understanding of these kinds of IP rights and how they apply to various music contributors, we have a link to an excellent BandLab article, which was discovered in April after Part 1 was published, on this description of music copyrights, another reference. What's next? Gen AI tools in the above categories are outside of our focus for this article series. However, it's worth noting that many of the same companies that use Gen AI for melodies are also using it for some of the purposes listed above, e.g. vocal covers, and 11 Labs is an example. The offerings from these companies will be discussed in varying depth in Part 3. Subscribe for free so you'll be automatically notified when new articles are published.